different angle today. I think the sad fact of reality is some people, or most people, are destined to fail. Do you know what it is? We use this term loosely. Some people are destined to fail. I've used it plenty of times in the past. I tell you what it is. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they lay the foundation incorrectly. So it's almost as if they're trying to build a house on quicksand. They give themselves every disadvantage before they actually try to get on the right path. So what a man will do is a man will be on the road, in and out of jail. He'll have a couple of youths and that. He'll be trapping previously. So obviously if he's been trapping previously, he has no education in that. When he does decide to maybe get a legit job, well, he can't get a decent, high-skilled, high-paying job because he has no education in that. So then he goes and he has to work some bullshit job, like working at the post office or being a Royal Mail, postman or whatever, because he's got his license taken from the police and that because he's been reckless driving and that. He won't be able to sustain working for these low-paying jobs mentally. Because think about it this way. Imagine, you've been on the road, and you've been shotting, you've been trapping. There's man that make £1,000 a day, 1,500 a day. It's easily doable, and if you have the right line. Don't get it twisted, man. I'm not promoting no drug dealing. Don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is, there's certain man right now making a grand, 1,500 a day. Imagine you're going from making a grand or 1,500 a day on your own time, on your own schedule. You can take breaks. You can go shop whenever you want. Imagine doing that and having to go and work for someone else. A man that's telling you what to do. A man that thinks he's your dad and he's only on £2 more than you per hour. Imagine going from 1,500 a day to 1,300 a month, 1,500 a month. You're not going to want to sustain that job. You're not going to want to continue working that job. And then you got kids and that, and you ain't got no education. Now you're in a position, you think to yourself, blood, do I really want to go and sit in the classroom for 4 years to learn a trade or go to uni or whatever? Well, uni is going to almost be out of the picture for these people, because uni, to get a degree, is 3-4 years and that. But in order to get the placement at uni, you need to fucking get A-levels on that. So that you have to do an extra 2 years beforehand. So certain man, they're just going to think, nah, fuck it. I ain't got no education. I can't be bothered to go and be an apprentice electrician or apprentice plumbing, gas engineer, whatever. And be working for some idiot £7 an hour and that £10 an hour and that. Fuck it, I'm just going to go back on the road. It's so important to lay the foundation correctly, man. Or else you're just going to be in a downward spiral. Life can be an upward spiral and life could be a downward spiral. At the moment, and for the foreseeable future, I'm in an upward spiral and that. Because I put the fucking work in. There's a lot of people right now, at the moment and for the foreseeable future, they're going to be in a downward spiral because they set themselves up badly. Imagine, trying to get on the property ladder. And like, there's a lot of people, they don't like the idea of me talking about property ownership and getting on the property ladder and buying multiple properties. And do you know why? Because they know they can never do it, or they can't do it for the foreseeable future because their credit score is fucked up. So they've laid their foundation incorrectly. You see, when your credit score is good, that means that you've had a history of being responsible with money. I always say this, I say this all the time. I don't need to ask anyone any questions. I don't need to see anyone's bank statements, nothing like that. If I want to know if someone is responsible with money or not, all I need to do is look at their credit score or their credit history and that. If I see default, guys getting into credit card debt, all of this craziness, all of this nonsense, man's taking out holidays on finance. Man's putting down a deposit for a holiday because he doesn't have the money. Or man's just paying for the holiday on his credit card. When I see all of that rubbish and a man's got a bad credit score, I know that individual is irresponsible with money. They don't have this thing that goes off in their head like myself, where if they can't afford it, this voice in their head doesn't go off and says, you know what, you cannot afford it, so you're not buying it. The exact opposite happens. I can't afford it, but I'm still going to buy it. Furthermore, no voice goes off in their head. They just spend. They go into their overdraft. I've never been in no fucking overdraft. Ever. Never been in no overdraft in my life. The only thing that's happened is, like you might have insufficient funds. Let's say £500 worth of direct debit supposed to come out on a Monday or something. I don't have enough money in that account because I've got 5 accounts and I just forgot to top it up. get a text message from my bank saying, yo, you need to put in X amount of money by 3 p.m. or else you go in your overdraft or whatever. That's it. But no one is really, I don't believe anyone's really born to fail. I feel like some people are born into families where they're going to have a tough time, succeeding, because they've got bad influences around them. You see, if you come from a family of doctors, lawyers, stockbrokers, high-flying chartered accountants, civil engineers and that, your chances of success are going to be much higher than coming from a single parent household. Daddy is in and out of jail. Mum buns weed. Mum ain't worked for 10 years. Mum has not worked for even 20 years because at every 5-year interval she has another child. So she's a full-time mummy. Yeah, full-time mummy, all this nonsense and that. So it's easier for someone to go down the wrong route, and it's easier for someone to fail or feel like they're destined to fail if they come from that sort of household, as opposed to coming from a household where the parents are professionals and that. I promise you, if you take 20 families where the parents are professionals, high flyers, doctors, whatever in it, all the high flyers, then bankers, stockbrokers, lawyers, all of that. You take 20 families and you observe the children and see how they grow up in the next 10, 15, 20 years and that, they will be at a higher level. I promise you. I'll put every penny on it. Typically, they will be at a higher level than the kids that come from deprived and poor families, because their foundation has not been laid properly. I'm laying the foundation correctly for my children. I'm in a position where when I have children, I'm not in a financial rut. I don't need to worry about gas, electric, water bills, food prices going up, petrol prices going up. I have no financial worries. You know why? Because I laid the foundation correctly. In my 20s, I wasn't living life on the edge and doing all this wild business and going to every single fucking party that's been hosted and that, going on holiday 1,000,000 times a year. I never done none of that. I sat my ass down and I worked and I grinded hard. Obviously, I'm not saying that you can't enjoy yourself and, have fun and that, but I never got caught up in the nonsense. I done all that nonsense when I was a teenager. So basically what happens is, a lot of people live like a sheltered life when they're like, 10 years old to 80. But what happens is when they're 18, that's when they go uni. So that's when they enter their wild side, enter the dark side and that. And they start moving wild or whatever in it, and then they're having all the quote-unquote fun and wild experiences in their late teens and early 20s and that. But I already done that, 16, 17, 18 and that. I was living life on the edge, doing madness. Like I've said in previous videos, going country, on the run from the police, going jail, getting stabbed, all this crap, all this fighting, getting rushed, all this foolishness and that. 10 man over there, we're going over there on the bus. 6 man were sitting on laps in the back of a 7-seater cab, going to the other side and that. Man's done all of that. So I never felt the need to live a wild and crazy life and that in my 20s, because I never lived a sheltered life throughout my teens. So a lot of people, it may come across that they're destined to fail and that, but the reason for that is because their foundation has been laid incorrectly, whether that was by their parents, or that was by themselves, whether that was by design, i.e. their parents, or by default. So that's it for today, man.